Good morning, everyone. This is Naomi Nachman, and you are listening to Table for Two on the Nachum Segal Network. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Naomi Nachman, and about all the food, all the time. I love shopping for food, cooking food, eating food, anything food related. I'm a kosher personal chef. My business is called the Aussie Gourmet. I wrote a cookbook. I have a catering business. And anytime you don't feel like cooking, you can give me a call. And right now, I'm about to start my next cookbook production. So I'm super excited that I've torn myself away from the kitchen to be here for the Nachum Segal Network and all our listeners. So thank you, everyone, for joining in each week and sharing about my kosher food experiences, my kosher food traveling and sharing of great recipes, ideas, and amazing guests. But I want to hear from you. You know it. I love hearing from you guys. So email me, Naomi@nachumsegal.com, and you can follow on all my antics on all the social media outlets. We have an incredible show. We've had a great lineup these last couple of weeks between the duck people and the Moscato liqueur. What was it? Moscato coffee liqueur. That's so good. One sip of that stuff on Friday night, I was like, it's very strong. We've really had a couple of weeks, and next week I'm going to announce the winner of our giveaway from, we had the guys from Noga and Bison and Bourbon. We had Duddy in, and we have a giveaway, and we will announce that next week. But yeah, it's been a really fun couple of weeks. I just want to give a shout out to Habaita, the restaurant I ate at Midtown this past week. I had to renew my Australian passport. What an ordeal. To renew an Australian passport is crazy. Do you know that? I have with me Penny Ackerman from Get Paid. I'm going to just jump in here and bring him in so I can talk in my monologue, which will no longer be a monologue, about Australia. How are you? This is this is Penny from Get Paid.
Good morning, everybody.
How are you?
Good, thank God.
First time on the air?
First time.
Excellent. You have a voice for radio.
Oh, well, my father actually was on the radio years and years ago. So
what did he do?
He had a Jewish radio show in Baltimore for many years when we were kids. We used to come down there.
What was it called?
Oh, gosh, I'm forgetting now.
We got to find out.
I'll find out.
Well, this is in the iconic Nachum Segal
right,
JM and the AM. I'm going to hold up a sticker to the camera. So I don't know if you know this, Penny, but to renew an Australian passport is really hard. You have to get like letters certified. You have to have a special photograph. Like, it's insane. And especially for kids, I had to renew one of my kids' passports. Who was becoming a kid to an adult passport. You had to like I literally had about 10 forms signed. And if you wrote the date backwards, like the whole world, right? The whole world writes it one way except America. Mm-hmm. All the forms were null and void. So we had to start all over again. It was awful.
Yeah, travel can be complicated.
It was really insane. So I did it. So I came to the city. I went to the Australian consulate on, I was at 42nd and Lex. And it was great. But I'm like, of course, I need to go out to eat. And I had my daughter with me. So I turned on Kosher GPS, which is great. Actually, he's going to be on my show next week, our final show for the season. Yitzi Katz, who developed that program.
Great app. Yep.
It's
super familiar with it.
A lifesaver.
Use it whenever we go anywhere.
It's amazing. Yeah. I need to know what restaurants are on the Upper East Side or Mid East Side, I would say. And we found a Baita, pizza, pasta. I believe it's owned by Sruli Subar and a partner who set up another chef. It's a chef-driven restaurant. It was unbelievable. The food was amazing. So I'm going to give them a big, big shout out to how fantastic Abaita was. So everyone make your way over there. And you've got to have the artichokes. They were like mind-blowing. They had 2 guys just peeling artichokes, fresh artichokes. I'm sure Beth Warren, who is here in the house with us, our in-house nutritionist and foodie guide to eating a healthy life, and she has a cookbook out there. So I'm sure brand new. We're going to be talking to her later on the show, Secrets of a Kosher Girl. I'm sure artichokes, Beth, are very healthy.
Yes, they're definitely approved, and they're actually free on the plan. Unlimited.
On your plan, on Beth's plan, which we will hear more about the second hour of the show. Okay, yeah. So big shout out to Abaita. So I've eaten at some great places, and this is definitely right up there. I was completely blown away by the whole team there and the service. So go check that out. Okay, so Penny, let's bring you back in. Let's talk. I've had one of your partners from PEYD, Get Paid, right? Get the joke? because you get paid. So we've had he's P for Penny. We've had Ellie in the show. Yeah. So now Penny's up to bat. So tell us about the beginning of Get Paid. How'd you guys all get together and why?
So it's a funny story, interestingly enough. We've actually known each other for many years. Ellie, Yaakov, so Penny, Ellie, Yaakov, Dudi. That's P-E-Y-D. And now there's more people, but we didn't just add the letters and it'd be too complicated of a name.
Like a law firm doesn't have.
We don't have that. So we were in camp together years ago, Camp Eshel, which is now Camp Chaverim. It's attached to Maganav for adults with special needs. And Yaakov and I, we were in yeshiva together. So we've known each other for, without aging myself, about 20 years.
Okay. He's much younger than me.
Yeah. And so years ago, it started really after the market crashed in 2008, and so the credit companies, American Express and the banks, were putting these promotions out for people to sign up for a card, and you would get 100,000 points when you would sign up for a card. Excuse me.
A credit card.
A credit card. They would give you 100,000 points, and they would give you 20,000 if you would refer somebody to sign up. So, Yaakov, who started the company, was pretty savvy and had a large network, and he was convincing friends and family, and he would call us up and say, sign up for cards, and then we'll find someone to sell them to. And it was the Wild West. People were signing up. You could earn millions of points, in a heartbeat. And then the question is what to do with them. So you could either use them for travel or find someone that you could buy them. So that's really how it started. Literally like in a garage. We started in this tiny little office about the size
like you and Steve Jobs.
Yeah, we're the Jewish Google, right? Or Apple.
Amen.
So it was about an office about this size. I remember we sat there with folding tables and chairs. And it's been almost 7 years now. And we've processed probably, Ellie would know the numbers exactly. I want to say close to 2 billion points.
Okay, what does that mean about the points? Because I'm sure I know, and ZK and Beth know, but what people who are new to the whole point system or have heard about it but don't really know about it, what is the whole points thing? What does that mean?
So I'll break it down.
Get 100,000 points for signing up a card. For what? Like when you use Waze and you report an accident, it goes, you got 6 points.
Right.
But what for?
No, okay.
Right? Good
exactly, question. Right. It's a good question. So the credit card companies and the airlines, there's a currency there that they use to incentivize people to spend money on the credit card or to travel and things like that. And then the question is, how do you redeem them? So for the average Joe, let's say, who's not necessarily flying to Australia often, so if you're just using them and you're not traveling that much, so you can the airlines or the credit card companies will offer you to redeem them through their system, for a gift card, for a statement credit, things like that. And generally, the rate that they're going to give you is much lower than what the highest value would be. So there's a valuation that you can use it for, like Dan from Dan Zeal's posts. You could stay in the Maldives and he got 3.5% valuation. How did he do that? Because the hotel room was $350 a night, and it only cost him 1,000 points, let's say. So there's your valuation of $350. But if you and I are not going to the Maldives every week when we sign up for credit cards, there's a value for us to purchase them and use it for somebody to be able to do that. Okay. So the average person is, let's say, spending money on a credit card, and they're earning 1 point for every dollar spent. So there are ways to earn more, and that's a whole nother conversation that we do for businesses and individuals. We can explain to them how a business can.
So if you're a business owner listening to this and you want to learn how to utilize the points for your company's credit card, you should give these guys a call.
Exactly. We do a lot of that. I mean, on the individual side, we've been doing that for years. And the past 3 years, we've focused heavily on businesses that can increase the bottom line by either reducing expenses, and also if they use it for travel, then it's a slam dunk. Even if they're not using it for travel, there are certain expenses that will trigger multiples of points. You can get 2 points, you get 1.5 points. So there's a lot of valuations in how you can use it. But just to explain again, if you use the points for travel, then
which I clearly do. You guys know how much I travel.
Yeah, we help Naomi a lot with her travel. So if you're using it for travel, you can be reducing your out-of-pocket expense can be zero if you use the points very well. And even if not, we can take those points and apply the value and book the ticket. So we have a department that books travel. So as you know, Naomi, we can buy your points, and instead of you laying out money for a trip, so we have very often we'll get phone calls. People are making a bar mitzvah in Israel and they want to take the whole family. And we say, no problem, you have all these points saved up, you can use it for that. You want to go away in the wintertime, you want to go somewhere warm, you can use the points for that. So we kind of remove the barriers of the limitations where a credit card company will say, oh, you can only use your points for blackout dates, and you can't use it here, you can't use it there. We say, no problem. There's no blackout dates with us. We can buy the points, and we have a full-service travel agency that can book the travel.
Right. So my daughter is actually going to on a program to Israel, Bezrat Hashem, in a couple of weeks with JLIC. It's a really cool program. I'm just going to give the program a bit of a shout out. I don't know the official name of it. It's for college students. You do an internship during the day, and there's learning at night for the girls, which I think is such a great thing for college girls. You know, it's a nice full program because there's not so much going on for them in the summer, and I needed ticket booked, and I just couldn't think I didn't want to use my points. You know, I want to save it for a big trip. You know, my husband and I are having our 25th wedding anniversary coming up. Yeah, so I'm like saving all our points. I didn't want to use it, so I'm like, I'm gonna pay for it cash, but I couldn't deal, and I couldn't work out. I wanted her to go to she wanted to go to London and stay with a friend from seminary, but she's paying for that portion of it, paying me back. Like, how am I going to book this ticket? I called the guys.
Right.
Guys,
so
help me out. Like, it's a regular travel agency as well.
Right. So I want to talk about that for a second. A lot of people know us or recognize us as points.
Right.
And they'll call us up and say, I didn't know you do regular travel. And we do that all day. We've been doing that now for, I think, 5 years. We've been booking regular flights, like you mentioned, flights to Israel, seminary students, flights to Israel, Pesach, Sukkot, all the hot spots, the hot seasons when people are going. We are full-service certified travel agency. The advantage is that, like you mentioned, you can either say, I want to pay for this trip out of pocket, and that trip I'd rather use my points.
Right, that's what I'm doing.
We can maximize, we can look at it and say, well, what do you want to do? We have people call us up and say, I want to pay for the flights regular, but I'm also going to need an apartment, or I need a driver, or I want to rent a car.
So you could do that too?
So we have full service, so we can offer all the service. What we've done is...
I didn't actually know that part.
Yeah, we can leverage, at this point, now that we've been doing it for so many years, we leverage all of those relationships with our partners that handle full service, VIP service, tours. Pesach programs is big because people will go away for Pesach. There's a lot of elements, a lot of tentacles.
Your program on points. I saw that ad that you could pay for.
Yes, absolutely. We partner up with numerous Pesach programs that you can pay for points. There's camps, summer camps.
Really? What summer camps?
Well, in the 5 towns by us, there's a bunch of Camp Shira has us on there. There's numerous
That's a new
camps.
camp. That's a new girls' camp in the 5 towns.
Yeah. So I think what we've done is educated the general populace to understand that points have a cash value.
And if you want actual money, you can just cash it out.
But it can also be used for things you might not be able to do. You might not thought that you could take your whole... Like, Pesach is a great example because people will say, well, it's expensive for me to get 2 rooms. I don't know if I can stay the whole time. We say, wait a minute, you have all these points saved up. Now you can take your grandkids. You can take an extra room. You can stay for the whole program. So it's really educated the populace to understand that the points have a cash value. And certainly when it comes to travel, because what people in their head, they understand the points that could be used for travel, but they might have a hard time actually utilizing them, so they call us up, exactly like you're saying. Right. I have points. I don't want to use them now. I want to use them later. What makes the most sense? So we do a lot of that analyzing.
Do you do cruises?
Yeah.
I'm dying to go on a cruise.
So anything that we don't do in-house, we have partners that do it because they're handling the cruise. Even if it's really paying for the cruise with a credit card, if somebody has points, we'll buy their points, and then they can go on the cruise. So when you look at it as a picture of using your points to pay for anything, we pay tuition bills. There's actually a local school that has us on the tuition statement. Not that many people utilize the option.
That is hilarious.
But
I wouldn't.
Right, people don't reckon. You don't think necessarily that spending money on a credit card will actually pay for those types of expenses. So I can't tell you how many shaitels we've bought with points.
That's actually not a bad idea with points.
It's very any expense that people wouldn't necessarily have the cash on hand to be able to lay out, but they have the.
I love the whole loyalty points thing. I think companies are brilliant when they do loyalty points. Like, you know, the cup of coffees you buy 9, the 10th this free. The nails, my on Gigi Nails on
my wife goes there.
Me on Central Avenue. I have points, and like every time. I have a lot of daughters, everyone. You know, I have like 4 girls, and there's always someone that needs something at, the salon. We're not so jappy, but girls are girls. Let's put it real. Eyebrow waxing, whatever, nails, haircuts, whatever, and we put it all on the points that he has his own point system. And I'm saying, like, my kids aren't allowed to go without the points card and logging in their whatever it is, and like every 5th or 6th thing I get one thing free, and that's great. There's also mags for miles. People don't realize when you have a little bit of miles, like 600 miles, it's very hard for you guys to buy
anything with it, right?
But you go to magsformiles.com and you can use those, I call them micro miles, right? A small amount of miles. You can get a subscription to Southern Living magazine, which is great, tons of great recipes. So, like, you can utilize your points that way. So, like, I'm very big into, like, I don't know how I got into realizing this, but besides airline points, there are so many other ways that you can save money.
Yeah, there's a lot, and especially when it comes to travel, I found recently, and you could probably speak to this more, that the types of requests that we're getting for travel are not just regular. They want people that want to go to Israel on vacation, or they want to go to Florida. It seems like, and I think because of the kosher food, that's kind of, the palette has expanded, that people are traveling to more far-flung places.
Oh, unbelievable.
And places that we're doing research, I don't never heard of or don't have any experience. We have obviously travel partners that are familiar with it.
Right.
And we get requests, obviously, only places that have kosher food, or I know that there's a kosher restaurant there.
Right. I can help you out with that.
Right. But there's a lot of this, like we were discussing a minute ago about the poke bowls off there. There's a lot of this people want to taste. They want to go somewhere because they want to taste the foods.
Taste the food.
And so now we can help. We can get them there, and then we can advise. We have people. It seems like people have expanded their horizons when it comes to travel.
It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. If you open up the Mishpacha magazine, and there are a million tours going on.
Right.
Everybody knows I'm going with Miriam Schreiber, Kosher Legacy Tours. It's a bit of a mouthful there in one breath. To India, and if people want to go on her tour and travel, you can get your tickets from Get Paid, right. Or, but also, guys, when I was on a business trip in the last, about 3 weeks ago, I was put up overnight. I was doing some filming for a company, and we stayed overnight somewhere, and they paid for the hotel. But when I went to the hotel with something, I think it was a Hilton, I'm a Hilton Honors member, I checked in, even though they get all the points for paying for it, there's something called a staying point. Is that what it's called? So just because I was the body in the room, and I'm a member, I got points for that. Right. And I got free Wi-Fi and a bottle of water. Extra water. Right? Like, it's great. Like, you just have to know what to do. When I went on Birthright, when I checked in, it was with Belgium Air, I think, or Brussels Air, and I gave which is part of the Star Alliance, I gave my loyalty number in to the partner airline, and I got 40,000 points, whatever it was, just for flying, even though.
Yeah, it's in it, like you mentioned before about going to the nail salon. They're incentivizing you to tag their reward system to it, and we're saying that not only is there a reward within that system, there's a reward program that we can apply it to even outside of that. That's where we come in.
I think it's great. It's so genius. I've been doing the point system for more than 25 years. Before it was a shtick, because when I would fly to Australia on United Airlines, it used to be 60,000 points to Sydney. Right? That's nothing. Now it's 80. Right? So now it's 80. And it went up to 80 points already 15 years ago. But early on, it was 60,000 points for Australia. If me, my husband, and one kid was flying, we would accrue miles. And I would save those miles. If I put something on a credit card, I would, on the United credit cards, because United Airlines, it would all add up. And every once in a while, we had a free ticket, or my parents had a free ticket from flying or from credit cards. And for 25 years, but now it's gotten even better.
So it gets complicated.
There was a lot of blackout dates, though.
Right, so it gets complicated. So if you know in that specific scenario that you're going to want to fly United, then it makes sense to get something that will earn United. But very often we'll get phone calls and people say, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I like to have my options open. So then there's cards that might make sense for that. If somebody has a hyper-specific thing, they're saving up for a trip to Australia or something, they know they're going to want to fly a certain airline, or a business that knows that they always fly Delta because they're flying people on a certain Delta route. So based on that information, we can suss out which card makes the most sense for them based on their spending habits, how much they're spending on each purchase, how often are they flying. So we can analyze all that data and say, well, based on your spending habits and your travel habits, here's what we recommend.
What would you recommend for a typical person? Going grocery shopping, gas, everyday living expenses. What would be a really good card to get? So, with good value, good points back, cash back, whatever it is.
So Amex Everyday is the American Express Everyday card is a good American Express card. Membership reward points are always valuable, and they transfer to partner airlines. American Express has a Starwood program that everyone's familiar with.
Yeah. What's with Marriott's joining? I didn't know how to merge my Marriott. Maybe you'd do that for me. Can you do that for me? I've got Marriott. Of course you can.
I've
got Marriott.
You can merge into Marriott. It's a little complicated in what's going to end up being in the future, and that's probably that in and of itself is an entire show.
Right.
So there's no way to know if the value will devaluate tremendously or not. But right now, Starwood points historically have been and still are the highest cash value, as well as redemption value. They're significant. Very
Amazing.
often people are able to use them for hotel stays at least a 2-cent valuation. So
when I went to Hawaii, we were talking about before, you guys booked my tickets. I sold Avios points.
yeah.
We got 2 tickets with that, and I used, which you guys took care of for me and booked the flights and all the changing of to go the different islands. Did it all on points. That's how I do all that travel. People go, how do you travel so much? I'm like, points. I'm the queen of points. and the hotels all on SVG.
So yeah, so even if you're not able to use them even for hotels, Starwood has a very high cash value anyway. So like it happens very often if I'm talking to somebody in the street and they'll start talking about credit cards, they'll pull out their wallet and start showing me the credit cards that they use.
Let me show you what I've got.
So a Starwood card is I highly recommend. American Express every day. Maybe the Gold card if there's certain purchases that you know you're going to get double, triple points.
So I used Chase Reserve. It costs me money.
But you know you travel.
But I travel, so I get $300 worth of travel a year.
And when you book a ticket actually through Chase, you'll get 1.5 times the points for a ticket. So a $1,500 ticket would only cost $1,000.
Okay, I totally lost out on that.
So again, Chase Sapphire Reserve, if you know your travel, and when you book it through the Chase...
when you book it through.
When you book it through Chase, you can get 1.5 times the points, the value. So a $1,500
okay, so I haven't
ticket
used mine yet.
would only be $1,000.
Okay. Oh, that's very cool.
That's when
guys, I hope you caught that.
The other thing is a business platinum card for anybody that's going to be making purchases of $5,000 or more, individual purchases, so businesses, people that are buying inventory. A $5,000 purchase triggers 1.5 times the points. So all of a sudden you end up with 7,500 points for $5,000 spend. No, for each spend on over $5,000 on a business platinum card, you get 1.5 times the points.
Oh, that's cool. So
individually, American Express every day, grocery shopping, nails, things like that. If you're a business or anybody individually that's spending $5,000 on an individual charge, I would recommend a business platinum because you get 1.5.
Oh, that's very cool. So I with this Chase Reserve, you get 3 points for every restaurant, and you guys know that I am obsessed with eating out. Right? Like, so as much as I'm obsessed with cooking, I'm obsessed with eating out. You get 3 or 4 points per restaurant that you go to. Right. So we use that just for restaurants, and hotel and travel all go on that card because it's 2 to 3 points. I also use Capital One because you get double points, and it's very good for travel because you just take that off as well.
It's hard. It's always a tough question. That's like somebody saying, "What's the best car for me to get?" I don't know. Where do you drive? Do you have a long commute?
You're right.
So the best card depends. Like you said, if you know you're eating out a lot, if you know you're going to be traveling.
Right. And one more thing let's talk about TSA. What tips can you give us for TSA?
Because get TSA pre. You need to have that.
Which you get free. Well, not free. They take it off. They take it off your...
on the entry. Yeah, the global entry. Yeah,
I love that.
Highly recommend it. And even when you travel with kids, I notice that my kids sometimes get tagged along if I have it.
Oh, no, anyone under 8...
8 or 10.
8 or 10. I think it's 12.
You should try to get them in.
My little kid.
No, I'm saying even if it's not on there.
No, they're not on my global entry. I bring
no,
them
but
through.
if you walk them through with the kids, very often I've had them where they're just like, okay.
No, yeah, they let you. That's
yeah, they let you.
Yeah,
they ask like 10 years old. Like, they kind of ask their age.
But my 10-year-old Leora, she because if she's booked with me, it always comes up on her boarding pass TSA.
If she's
on my booking code. Yeah. So that's great. I love the TSA pre-checks. It's the whole world is actually catching up. So sometimes the line is shorter on the other line.
Yeah. Early in the morning for business travelers, I noticed if you take these early 6 a.m. flights, all the business travelers have it. So sometimes they just pop over to the regular line because you're not gaining anything.
But you have to take your shoes off, you know. But I love the TSA pre-check. So I did TSA, and everyone should know about this. I did TSA and not global. You're supposed to really apply for global, which includes TSA.
There anyway.
Yeah, it's different office because my husband, I did TSA because that's what someone told me to do. And then I went and did it. It was great. And then someone goes, and my husband got global.
Global entry.
So he could, which included TSA. So when we came back from Miriam Schreiber's Legacy Tour last year from Asia, he could walk right through, and I had to stand online for an hour because I wasn't global, which is...
It's on the
coming
return.
from overseas.
Global entry, right?
Right, coming from overseas. TSA is within the United States. And you also have to check your airline because not all airlines and not all hotels have it.
It's interesting because there are all these ancillary parts of travel that people don't necessarily think about. They might be thinking about where they want to go, but you got to talk about what are they going to be eating. and just the experience from getting from off the plane or getting onto the plane to the destination, it could make a big difference. When we book big trips for people to Israel, very often we'll offer if they want VIP service when you get off the plane.
What does that mean?
VIP service when you get off the plane, they meet you at the jetway.
Which airline?
Any airline. They do it in any airport, but Tel Aviv specifically. Only from my personal experience, when you're traveling with a bunch of kids on a 12-hour flight, and you get off the plane, and there's somebody there with a sign that says, Naomi Nachman, they're an Ackerman family. It's a game changer. I'm telling you.
Okay, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah,
Guys, I'm literally hearing this.
Absolute game changer because they meet you at the jetway.
Who's they?
It's either a lady or a man. Yeah, the escort. It's someone from the Ben Gurion Tel Aviv Authority.
Okay.
The whole big terminal.
No, they
Stop
sneak
it.
you
Oh,
out. Yeah, they meet. Oh, you've taken it. They meet you at the jet with a name. First of all, Naomi, just having somebody there with their name on it, that's cool. Come on.
That's cool. I know.
So they meet you at right when you walk out of the plane, and then they shuffle you off to this back door. They grab your handbags or whatever, put you in a nice air-conditioned van. You get to wave at everybody like, haha,
I'm the queen.
They drive you through the tarmac, and they sneak you in the back, and they walk you through. They put you on a different line for customs and through security, and they wait with you with your bags. And then if you have given them your driver's, like if you have a car service, the driver's phone number, they connect with the driver and they put you on. It's not that expensive.
I was going to say, does this cost a lot of money?
I'm pretty sure it's either $150 or $199 for 4 people. So,
and if you
want more, no, I don't think so. And if you have more, I think it's $50 more person, something like that. It is worth every penny. I'm telling you. When we book big trips, we usually throw it in complimentary, depending on the size of the trip they were booking.
That's so nice of you.
It makes a huge difference when you get off the plane, and everyone's exhausted, and they just breeze you right through. It's
also when you're checking in.
There's also the way to do it on the way in. Yeah.
This is the most ZK's ever spoken on a radio show.
He's excited.
I love it.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of parts of travel that people don't recognize. Whether, like you said, TSA, getting off the plane with VIP.
I would want to have sandwiches waiting for me and a coffee. Can we have that thrown in?
I'm sure you could
the
find
ultimate foodie. When I land in Australia, and I haven't been to Sydney in 4 years, but I know when I land, there's this between the meeting my dad, who always picks us up from the airport at 6 a.m. because all flights land in Sydney from America at around 6 a.m. He picks me up between the, where you greet the people and you hug, yay, and then to the parking lot. There's an amazing coffee shop outside, and that's my first line that I go to. I'm like, I cannot go to the car without that coffee. They have great coffee. So I'm all about all the food at all these places. People do fly to Chicago just to eat at Mills. Right? So you can now go to any kosher restaurant. And this is really my theme here. People are like, oh, you're talking about food and travel. And we've spoken a lot about travel, even though usually it's a lot about food. But this is my 2 biggest passions. And, there is destination restaurants that I want to go to around the world. And people do this. I know it sounds crazy, but they want to go to Tierra Sur in California. Book your tickets. We should make a package deal.
I love that. We've been there numerous times.
It's
the entire experience there. Sitting in Oxnard, it's beautiful.
Have you been? I love
beautiful.
Chef Gabe Garcia. He's a rock star. Shout out to you. He's amazing, and he'll sit at your table. He'll sit and schmooze with food. He's given me tours.
Yeah.
We've walked around there, like private tours of the kitchen. I mean, you can also take a tour of the winery, which is self-guided. But it's awesome. You want to go to Milt's, hop on a plane. People do that. They go to shout out to you, Brian Greiker. You go eat the ribs there. Like you want or shallots, or where else is it? Miami, Zach the Baker.
Right.
Actually, I think they just changed hashgachas. So,
or from meat to dairy to
meat. Both. They changed hashgachot, and then they also made their deli back to being milchik. Yeah, right. So there are some great restaurants around the world. You want to go, use your points.
It's very accessible. It's very much easier to travel to get to these places for food reasons or whatever you want. You just call us up. We've gotten some interesting requests. You'd be surprised. But
what's the craziest place?
I mean, there's places that I can't even pronounce. Vietnam.
I've been to Vietnam.
Right, it's Vietnam.
Ho Chi Minh and Saigon with Miriam Schreiber's Kosher Legacy Tours. It keeps coming up today.
Like you mentioned before, the tours in Africa. The tours, we've been getting a lot of that. The safaris. India.
India's. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
And the food in India. Wow.
Right. We were talking about this off there also, about the curry and about a lot of these foods that haven't really made it yet into the Jewish
people. There are very
palate.
few kosher Indian restaurants with for me, a hechsher that I eat at. I'm like very particular. So, everyone does their own. No one's judging. But we were talking about this maybe a couple of weeks ago, ZK, on the show as well, right? Talking about different Indian restaurants. There's a great one in Stamford, Connecticut. But I actually want to go to India and learn Indian cooking from Indians and bring it back. But Jewish people aren't. So it's a bit Sephardic, right? It's cumin and allspice.
I think people aren't used to the spice.
Right. It's a different
that flavor
different flavor profile.
For sure.
So, okay. Well, if you guys want to join me in India and Miriam Schreiber, and you want to use points or
call us up. We'll
buy
get you
your
there.
tickets.
We'll get you there.
Miriam can, facilitate things also, but if these guys, you're based in New York, the customer service is amazing. Besides the fact that I actually came to get paid through Ellie because we all worked at Camp Dina together, and then back in the day, and then I got to know the rest of the guys. But I really like, if you've got a business and you're accruing points, it's really the smart way to go.
Just call us up. See what we can do.
Okay, amazing. And then you can get paid. Exactly. Amazing. Thank you so much, Penny, for sitting with us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having.
See, I'm going to just get you guys to switch seats. You'll join in our conversation. And I have Beth Warren in the house for the 4th, 5th time. I'm not sure.
It's like the 5th time. Yeah.
Beth and I actually met through the Nachum Siegel Network.
Yep.
Her, at the time, agent was Trina Kay, who was my agent for my book for Art Scroll.
Yep.
And Trina reached out to me, said, I've got this lovely girl who's a nutritionist. And she came on my show. She sent me her book, and it was great ever since. We have become.
Yeah, that was my first book.
We have become great friends. She was on the show. How many weeks ago was that? Good couple of weeks. Was it before Shavuot?
Before Shavuot.
We
did a dairy recipe.
At Nachum's live lunch.
Yes.
Was a Tuesday, a Thursday?
I think it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
A Wednesday.
Yeah.
Everything's a blur in my head.
Well, yeah, you have a lot going on.
A lot going on. So do you. So we did a live lunch frittata. We actually made a live lunch frittata on the live lunch.
Right.
With Nachum at Wesley Kosher back up in Monty a couple of weeks ago. And every time Beth and I get together in the city to come on the show, we meet at Union Square, and we had a little walk around Union Square.
Yeah, the Green Market.
Yeah. And we had some little pastries. One thing I love about Beth, she might be a dietitian, but she eats like regular people.
I love food. I love all foods. That's how I think we get along so well, because I do love all foods.
Right. And she I buy this pastry. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram story, but I don't even know, cannelle, I think it's called, and it's like sugar and cream and eggs and fattening, and I
had to taste it.
And she had to taste it. So I really appreciate that about you, Beth.
Yeah.
You keep it real.
For sure.
But isn't that the name of your first book?
Yeah, Living a Real Life with Real Food. And then I carry that over now into Secrets of a Kosher Girl.
Okay, this is the book. If
I
you're
actually
watching
talk
on a
about
YouTube
in
channel,
there how important it is to treat yourself. And this is a 21-day plan specifically, but the goal of the 21-day plan is you're supposed to treat yourself once a week, because you have to learn how to trust yourself and be mindful around food so that you know how to deal with yourself when you're around a green market that you want to try a treat, Right.
Yeah, besides the radishes.
Yeah, besides the radishes. I don't try a treat from you and now all of a sudden, I'm overthinking it, and tonight I'm just going to be like, oh, remember the treat I tried from Naomi, and then
the
everything
treat was
unravels.
Half a bite of my cannelle.
It happened and you enjoyed it and that was interesting and it's over. So that's what this teaches you also.
Okay, so let's talk about the physical book.
Yeah.
I want to just show everyone how beautiful it is.
Mm.
So our front cover, and then we turn to it's more than a cookbook. It's
much more than a cookbook.
It's really a guide to learning how to eat, but the photography for the book in the middle is beautiful, done by our good friends Moshe Walliger and Style Photography, Moshe, and
Renee.
Style by Renee.
Yeah, I actually had to insist on those food photos because technically this would be in the diet.
Renee Muller. We forgot her last name.
Yeah,
sorry.
Renee Muller. And I love having food photos in my books. And even though it's technically more of a diet book than a cookbook, even though there's over 50 recipes in there, I insisted on the food photos. I'm so happy I did because you want to see what you're eating. And a couple of them are double spreads where it's showing you all the snacks on the plan, or there's a lot of salads on the plan. So there's a double spread.
This page.
Yeah. Oh, that's the sweet potatoes and the eggplant. So yeah, you need food photos.
These are beautiful.
Yeah, that one is actually to show how to make jarred salads because I wanted to show how it's practical to make all these veggies all the time.
I love this.
So
I
try to simplify it a lot in this book and make it realistic as best as I could for a 21-day commitment like this.
So let's talk about the actual plan.
Mm-hmm. So, well, it's called Secrets of a Kosher Girl, first of all, because through my private practice, I have, Beth Warren Nutrition, which is my private practice.
Right.
That's my...
So people
where
can
it
come
started.
and have a private consultation.
Yes.
She walks you through the program and stays in touch with you while you do it.
Yeah. So when I was counseling there with clients, and of course everyone, quote unquote, knows what to do, but they don't know why they can't lose weight, or they don't know why they're losing control around food. And I just started developing the whole mindset of, mindful eating and just like getting to the root of the issue of why you're not reaching your goals, as opposed to it being like, I'm telling you exactly what to eat. Well, anybody could really do that. You could just make yourself eat 600 calories a day and lose, but you didn't learn anything about yourself. And because of that, you're not going to be able to maintain it. So now the trend in the world is more intuitive, mindful eating, but these books take years to develop. So we've been talking about this the whole time. So from a kosher perspective, we're supposed to be more aware and mindful of what we're eating. That is the intention of, let's say, saying brachot. And we say brachot before, we say bracha after. You could take these moments to think about what you ate. You could take a breath. These things are all meant to they could not, this isn't why we do it, but it could be used as behaviors to help us be more mindful around our food. And because you're being more mindful, then you're able to make more decisions, clear-headed decisions about what you're eating and why you want to eat it and how much you want to eat. So the purpose of the 21 days is supposed to be really a training period. So I know it's called diet, and I know all these things because really that's what people need to hear. Like, oh, a diet? But really the 21 days are a training period for people to relearn themselves without having obstacles like tons of artificial sweeteners that make your sweet tooth really high and all these other things that make you think you don't like eating healthy. So that's what you're going to learn throughout the 21 days. And the plan gives you step-by-step what to do each day, along with recipes that are so simple. I give you, at the bottom of each day, Beth's prep tip. So I'll explain, like, okay, pull the chicken burger out. You're going to need that for tomorrow. Or, don't forget to put the chia pudding overnight. So I try to really, really hand-hold people. We've tried and tested this strategy specifically from the book. A few groups, like at least 5 groups of people over the past 3 years. So we got all the questions down, and I really think that I wanted to give them the book. It's soft cover so they could throw it in their bag and always pull it out and always reference it. It's really going to be like their best friend, because I want people to be successful.
I love it. I love the fact that you have little, what's this? What do you call these for?
Mindful meditations, I called it.
Every day.
It's like a mantra to set you up for the day. So we talk a lot about mindfulness. So one way I put that into, I weave that into the 21-day plan is you wake up and you say this, I call it like a Jewish quote, but I don't know, like the first one's about Rabbi Hillel, like if I'm not for myself, who is for me? And if not now, when? So, and then I give my little like blurb about how, you got to take action now. And if you're not going to do it for yourself, who are you going to do it for? So each day starts with something like that, to just get you like refocused, wake up and have a fresh new day. And then I give you a fitness goal. And in the chapters, I explain why these components are important. Then I give you the fitness goal. Very easy. Either it's a YouTube link, something you could do on your own, or you saw at the end I had the little like cuties.
She has yoga.
I had these little cute diagrams that you could just do at home.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, because I'm very...
So do that. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Little yoga.
Yeah. Because I'm very much into, and I explain this in the book, quality exercise over quantity. I need you to just focus on something, within 30 minutes that you could do, and it's very effective. I don't need people to go running for 3 hours. I don't need people to do something.
But it's like, just say you don't have, I don't have 30 minutes in a day to exercise. I've got to be honest, right? That's my...
Yeah. Well, some of these are even, by the way, 10, 15, 20 minutes. They're not all
I need
30.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Also, something you should consider is you could spread things out over the course of the day.
Right,
you
10 minutes in the morning,
find,
10 minutes at night.
Yeah, like if you watch my Instagram and my stories, like if I'll be working to have like a 5-minute break, I have these like bands. I call them bands. They're like elastic bands that you can wrap around your legs or your ankles or even do arm exercises with. Yeah. And especially on my long client days that I'm sitting for like 12 hours, getting up and doing something like that is very helpful. You have to think like less is more. Just every opportunity that you could throw in something that's fitness related matters.
Right. It's important. I see as I've gotten older, when, in your 20s, you could just cut back on something and you lose weight. In your 30s, without exercise and diet, it doesn't come off. I think our metabolism changes every 10 years.
Yeah, well, the more muscle mass you have, the less fat mass you're going to have. And what I talk about in the book is I'm not into like the number on the scales per se. We use an InBody in my practice. It's a machine that calculates your fat, muscle, water, your metabolism based off your muscle mass. So we're very targeted and pinpointed on what you're losing. I'm not interested in people losing 60 pounds of muscle in a month, because that's just going to make your whole metabolism get slower, and ultimately in a year or 5 years,
how
you're going
much
to gain
is
your
60
weight back.
pounds of muscle? Is that a lot or a little bit? Sorry,
No, that's a lot. I just threw the number 60 out of there, but this one only shows 6 to 11 pounds of loss in the 3 weeks, which is just an average that we saw, and that's considered fast to me. So you have to think that
fast? Say that again.
It says 6 to 11 pounds of weight loss.
In 6 to 7 pounds of weight loss.
6 to 11.
6 to 11 was a big spread.
It's a big spread. It's more like women versus men, or someone who has more to lose versus less. I'm very honest in the book. We don't make fake promises. I want people to know that if they've struggled before to lose, let's say they retain a lot of water or you're on a lot of medications, that you just see it on the scale slower, you'll obviously be more on the lower end of loss. But it wouldn't mean that you're not losing fat. It's just the scale shows everything. It shows if you had something salty the night before. It shows, if you went on an airplane and came off, you'll weigh more. If you have to go to the bathroom.
Really?
Yes. Your water, your fluid
levels.
There
you go. Travel.
I didn't know that.
Penny, it always comes back to travel.
That's why you can't put the shoes on the plane.
Do not weigh yourself after travel.
Yeah.
We should put that as after every ticket.
Yeah. When you take your shoes off and you put them back on and they're like tight. Ever try that?
I didn't know that it retains it to the extent that you would a noticeable difference.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I have another question. So how come people always complain about stomach aches on the airplane? Because the food's bad.
Maybe the equilibrium, like maybe the we were talking about motion sickness. Yeah, like or something.
They say food tastes differently, right? Tomato juice is what they recommend. Don't they recommend tomato juice? I think when you're flying.
Food tastes differently?
Really?
Because, for some reason the tomato juice isn't as changed on the palate.
I love that.
Other foods that are.
I actually heard from Chef Isaac Bernstein, executive chef at Pomegranate, that when you fly, food does taste different.
So weird.
Yeah, I'd love to know that. I'm giving Beth a mission here.
I am, because I'm traveling in July. We're going to Switzerland, Madrid, and Israel to do some book signings and
that
cooking demos.
So cool.
Yeah, it's really, I know. So I'm calling him because I'm doing that VIP treatment.
Yeah,
isn't that so
I'm
cool?
Doing that,
right?
Yeah. So I'm traveling again. So I usually I don't even want to eat on the plane. I get very, but I will now.
When I travel, I take a suitcase, a hand luggage full of food.
Yeah, me too.
My
husband
is the biggest nasher on the planet. God bless him. But he likes to be healthy. I take with us sandwiches and salads and noodles for the kids and packets of tuna. Like, I have this number one, I have a fear of being hungry, and we need to.
I'm like that too. I like to have food around me.
Right. So even when we go on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Or the train, when I went on the LIRR, I always have snacks with me. I love to eat when I'm in motion, like to
when you're going somewhere.
When I'm going somewhere, eat on the train, eat on the boat. I don't know, but I'm. Okay, where on the train? That you're not allowed food. Yeah, well, I don't know.
They should have a food cart.
I take my.
They have like a no phone one.
I have that's funny.
Yeah, they should do a food one.
Like on Harry Potter, the food cart that comes around the train.
The ferry by us and the Rockaway ferry that goes to the city. They have it's like the Long Island Railroad of ferries, and there's a food cart that has like a bar.
Wait, can you just say that again? I missed that whole.
What is ferry?
The Rockaway ferry.
There's a ferry from Far Rockaway to.
It goes from Beach 105 around there to the Manhattan.
What?
You have to do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it as a get paid trip.
Well, you have to do it. It's first of all, it's the nicest way to go into the city.
That's like the one in Deal in the Highlands.
It's
goes
beautiful. You're taking it. It's a 35-minute ferry. Naomi, where have you been?
I don't know.
And only recently. Last summer we took the kids. My wife and I. We took the kids on a Sunday. Met my brother from Staten Island in the city.
And he took the ferry, and you took the ferry.
He took the ferry from Staten Island. Yeah, it's first. So the ferry. The reason I'm bringing it up is that they have a food.
Yeah,
they have like a bar with food there. You can even buy a beer.
That's like the ferry in Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay,
there you go.
We're just talking
about. It's an MTA fare.
We were just talking this morning what we're going to plan for this coming weekend.
Yeah. MTA fare.
Did you know this, CK?
It's $250. It's like an MTA card.
No way. Oh no, the one in Jersey is not $250.
No, it's $250. It's a regular MTA. Use a regular
like
MTA card.
$40 a ticket. Wow.
Because New York City.
That's lucky. You should do that.
Completely blown away by. I've just learned something. I've learned a lot of things today, but that's very interesting.
It's very, it drops you a South Street Seaport right there.
Yeah, I see all those ferries there.
beautiful.
That's where the Jersey one leaves from.
What we get a lot of the traffic, people coming out to the island for the beaches, and we're schlepping into the city because we want to change the scenery. But it's beautiful. It's the nicest way to get to the city.
Okay, I'm gonna do this on my Instagram story, so I hope you all follow me, or you can find me at Naomi. It's Naomi at NachumSiegel.com, not Naomi Nachman at NachumSiegel.com, because a lot of people are saying it was getting bounced. But it's because it's just Naomi. Okay, Naomi at NachumSiegel.com. We're going to talk about the giveaway in a second after this. But I'm going to put up the whole adventure on my Instagram to see what's going on with this, because I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, wow. So you can take where do you park? Where do you drive?
You could park. There's a parking lot there, or you could park on the street along.
In Far Rockaway.
Not in Far Rockaway. It's in it's in Arvern area, like 105th Beach
Where is
Channel
that?
Drive.
Beach Channel
Beach
Drive.
Channel and maybe 105th Street or something like that. It's called the Rockaway Ferry. You could Google it. It's very.
Okay, I'm writing it
It's
down.
a Rockaway Ferry.
Rockaway Ferry to NYC. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, I think we should have a group outing. We'll all meet there
It's
and we'll
beautiful.
do it.
It's beautiful.
Okay, cool. All right, excellent. Giveaway time, Beth.
Yes. Let's give away a book.
Okay, all you guys out there who want a copy of Beth's book, you can buy it if you don't win it. Don't think that you're not going to be running to buy it.
Yeah, it's also available in most major retailers, Barnes & Noble and Amazon and
Barnes and Noble?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's not in your specific Barnes & Noble, ask for it because they could get it.
Can we get this into some of the farm stores?
Yeah, that we need to, they got to call me. I got to get into them.
Okay.
I think already a few asked for it because it's, you need a Jewish distributor who I'm looking for.
Judaica Plus in the Five Towns is our go-to farm store.
I'll do
So, yeah, he's amazing. So, remind me, I'll give you that connection.
Great.
But this is going to be available on Amazon. It is already available.
It is already available. Yeah.
I buy a lot of things on Amazon.
Oh, it's my life.
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
My
it's
life.
crazy. I bought
The boxes
toothpaste
are
the
outside
other
my
day.
door. Yeah.
It's like a Shalach Manas every week.
Yeah.
Every day I come home, the Shalach Manas waiting outside my door. But you want to win a copy of this beautiful book? You have to email me, Naomi at NachumSiegel.com to be in it to win it, and follow Beth Warren.
Yep.
Okay, on
Beth
Instagram.
_Warren.
But people don't, some of our listeners don't have Instagram. So
Yep.
that's why I tell them, just email me, Naomi at
Yeah.
NachumSiegel.com.
And I also have a website if they need to be in touch, BethWarrenNutrition.com.
Okay, it's very exciting. What are the don'ts of food? I don't know if we want to hear this, Penny.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I don't
what
really.
should we never eat?
I see. I'm not.
Say it straight.
No,
Say it
my whole thing is that I'm not really like that. I just want you to choose whole foods most often, and that when you're looking at your plate or what you're eating in a day, it should be mostly from plants. It doesn't mean that it's vegan. It just
What do you
means
mean
plant-based.
Say
Plant-based, like for your starch, choose butternut squash, not always bread. For to have salad for lunch and roasted vegetables with dinner, or mix up salads and roasted vegetables in one thing. Then you put on it your protein. So there's chicken recipes in there. There's fish recipes in there. There's eggs. Egg omelet is once a week.
once a week?
Yeah, once a week.
My kids would have an egg every day.
No, I rotated it. Well, you'll learn in the book how important rotation is. So yeah, you get a smoothie one day a week, egg omelet one day a week, a chia pudding one day a week, oatmeal one day a week. So I switch it up because everyone says I'm so bored. And you're like, wow, you're doing this a week. We're not bored, but they did switch it up.
Okay, cool.
And the recipes also are switched up.
What is one food you've never eaten? I'll tell you
I
yours
eat
if you
anything. No, you don't understand. I would try anything because I like the experience of trying something.
Okay, would
But
you
what did I
eat
never?
a Vegemite sandwich?
I don't even know what that is.
Do you know what a Vegemite sandwich is?
It sounds like bugs, insects, or something. Vegemite.
ZK, have you ever had a Vegemite sandwich with me? No, he's saying no.
And
keep it away from this studio. Vegemite is it's actually super healthy.
Okay.
If you guys know what it is, you know what I'm talking about. It's Australian.
All right.
It's made out of a yeast extract.
Okay.
It looks like chocolate, but it's the opposite. It's salty as all heck. And you have it with butter and toast. And it's every Australian kid grows
That doesn't
up on.
sound so bad. I actually got
It's very umami.
Yeah.
Very umami, but Americans hate it.
Well, I have like a worse one. I got asked for a media interview about supposedly there's a thing now with cockroach milk.
What? Did you?
Huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I
How do
asked
you know about
Vegemite
this?
is because it's very high in protein.
Yeah,
you're the
cockroach.
expert. So
Yeah, so I got asked about it, but supposedly it's not. They asked me if they think the trend's going to last. I said, first of all, I don't think people could get over the fact that it's from a cockroach. Second of all, it's not sustainable at all. You need to like kill like hundreds of cockroach for like a teeny thing of milk.
I'm gonna vomit.
Anyway, my point is that I brought it up to a client. I was working with a picky eater, a girl in high school, and we were just chatting, and I said how a lot of times when I eat, and I was teaching her that you just do it for the experience. So it's okay if you don't like it, but sometimes you just take something from the experience.
Just try.
So
it.
then I mentioned today I was asked about cockroach milk, and I said the truth is I don't think it's kosher or anything like that, but because from a bug. But if I would try it, I would try anything just to try it, because you're not going to know until you try it. But then I don't think I would ever try it again.
Right. So I've definitely tried a lot of things. I do draw the line at maybe
Cockroach milk.
Oh, well, it's not kosher. There's nothing to talk about
Right.
for us as Orthodox Jews. But you know that I've never eaten Entenmann's.
I know you told me that last time. I lived on those, and I talk about this in my book, how I was raised with all this junk food. I lived on those.
Okay, I've had Entenmann cookies. I've never in my life had an Entenmann's cake because
Yellow pound cake? Nothing.
I had the chocolate. I used to take off the
everyone take the
whole
chocolate off the
yeah,
top.
because
You
it
could
was like
feel
a
it. You could
solid
feel it right
peel.
off.
why would you eat?
Naomi.
Okay, wait. I grew up with nothing. Most food is not kosher, right? If you wanted cake, you made it yourself, right? So I grew up with homemade food.
Right.
So you wanted Chinese food? Mum and Dad whipped up Chinese food. My parents are like very serious foodies. But the idea of cake in a box that could last for a year and a half in a box on a
I
shelf.
know. Well, now I can't think.
I
Yeah,
can't.
now I
And
can't think how I did
I was
it.
like this my whole life, though. No, but I do love. I've still had plenty of Coke. I haven't had soda in a long time. A
Yeah.
lot of my foodie friends who have really influenced me in their health, I've not had soda. I now
That's
drink
good.
a ton of seltzer. That's my new Coke.
Yeah.
Beth, what do you recommend for sweets like that? Like desserts and...
Well, so first of all, I give a selection of what I call clean treats. So all that means is that you still got to count them, but it's made with like coconut oil, coconut sugar, those kinds. Because I do endorse, I explain it in the beginning of the book how important it is to treat yourself. But in the actual 21 days, the way I fit it in was that once a week you do a treat. So I gave options if people still want to quote unquote keep healthy with it. But I actually talk about in the chapters that I don't get involved with people's choice of a treat because it defeats the whole purpose. So if you want your Entenmann square, I just don't say, not for you. I just, don't say anything because I want you to just have your moment and then, appreciate it and get through it. I actually talk about in the book how that was from the Talmud, actually. A few clients told me that. And they're like, oh, that's in the Talmud. And the first person, I was like, oh, okay, cool, Then a couple more people told me. So I said, what is this? So supposedly it's pas basala. They called it that when the story is that when the Kohanim or whoever, I don't even know, I don't know this stuff, but when in Yom Kippur through the desert, they were worried that they would get hungry and or thirsty and they wouldn't be able to make it through the desert. I think they had to throw the goat off the cliff, something.
That's
a
from
side
Yom
point.
Kippur davening, right?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, the point is that they said, don't worry, at each stop you'll have bread and water to drink. And they said that not ever once did they stop to take the bread and water because they knew it was there. So there's a great quote in my book. I don't even know it by heart, but it's a great quote about how it's telling you that the more tempting something is or the more restricted something is, the more you want it. And the more allowed it is, the less likely you are to eat it. So then I take that a step further in my book. I say, even if you eat it once, but it's mindful, like you'll be okay. So it's actually, that's the whole point of the Kosher Girl theme, is that a lot of this stuff has been a part of our lifestyle, but we just didn't take it to be relevant to food.
Wow.
I know. It's pretty deep. It's great.
Right?
Gotta read it.
It's great.
It's a Shabbat read. That's what I say.
Shabbat. By the way, Beth is Syrian. That's
Yes.
why she has a slightly different accent when
Yeah,
you
I
speak
hear that.
Hebrew. Shabbat.
Yeah.
I say Shabbat.
Shabbat.
I say Shabbat,
Yeah,
or
it's-
people say Shabbos, but
Yeah, we have all three here. I'm Shabbos, you're Shabbat, and she's Shabbat.
Shabbat. I love Syrian food. Did you guys see that me and Beth did a kosher.com video?
Yep,
we made
on
gebre.
Yebre. You got it right.
I say it right. It's so good.
Yeah, that
It's
was
so
a twist
good.
on the classic, but yeah.
It was
great.
good. I want to make it again. I haven't had a chance to make it in a
So
while.
yum.
The only food I can make right now is food from my cookbook.
I know.
just
That's
recipe
almost gonna
testing.
be over soon.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I love doing a cookbook, but it's just really intense. Like my head is spinning. You know, I've got a lot going on, and I'm about to start photography, so
Yeah.
that's really intense. Miriam Pascal is coming. We loaded. I was saying before, we loaded up all the stuff from her photography studio to bring it to the 5 towns, and just
It's a
going to
lot,
be.
I
It's going to
know.
be
But
really
then once
intense.
it's over, it's the most accomplishing feeling.
Right,
ever.
I know. I love Perfect for Pesach.
Yeah.
It's great. So I'm still looking for a name for this book. So guys, I need it. It's not a Pesach book, but it's food. You know what my book's about? Food, travel, food inspired by my travels. See, it's really exciting.
Oh, okay. Well, that
It's
helps
got
narrow it down.
crazy things
think
in there,
on it.
stuff that has not been seen,
That's cool.
and also regular stuff. I mean, you know,
right.
not regular stuff. I got a few.
Right, because like I went to a restaurant in Brooklyn. I forgot the name, and I saw some Mexican dishes on there, and I was so impressed. And then when I tasted it, I was like, "This isn't spicy." And he's like, "Yeah, we got too much feedback that it was too spicy." So I was like, "So it's not Mexican anymore."
Right. But the consumers are not
I
Mexican.
know.
The consumers are
I
Ashkenazic
know.
or.
So
you
I
know.
just feel like, yeah,
You got to ease the Jewish palate into
easy.
it.
Right. Actually,
but I love spicy.
I went the other day to the Mio, the hibachi grill in Queens. I didn't
That's
give them a
fun.
shout out in the beginning, but that was fun.
Yeah.
But it's not so authentic Japanese.
Right.
I want to eat.
They all water it down, I think.
Don't give me falafel in Paris. I can go to Israel for a good falafel.
I get
And
you.
it happened to me. We went to Paris 20 years
You
ago
got
on
falafel?
points. They lost our great story that United lost our luggage, and they gave us like 80,000 points each. And my kids were still little at the time. I had a family friend coming. My cousin came from Australia. She goes, "Why don't I watch your kids and you guys go to Paris and London?" Because we had
Wow.
friends in both places, so we had free accommodation and had free tickets. So all was literally spending money, and it was really before the foodie explosion.
Yeah.
But where we stayed with our friends, he was a big foodie. He took us all over Paris. You get your challah from here, your dips from here. You eat fish at this restaurant.
Oh,
you meet-
that's
But then
fun.
he had to go away on business, and his wife had to go to Israel for family simcha. So we were in Paris by ourselves in their apartment. We had to find food for dinner. So many great choices there. And we ended up eating shawarma in Paris.
yeah.
It was very good shawarma, and they have a lot of Moroccan Jews, right? French Moroccan Jews in Paris. So it was
A lot of them moved
delicious.
to Israel now,
Right.
but
Yeah, this was in 1999,
Yeah.
November 1999. But I always joke, I don't want to eat. I always come back to that line. I don't want to eat shawarma in Paris. I want to eat the local food. And when I was in Bangkok, I got to eat pad thai
Wow.
and tom sum salad. Like, give me the local food.
Yeah,
So-
I hear you. I had a falafel when I was in Israel last year. I plan to do it again. So
Right.
I also
well,
like
that's
that.
what you're supposed to have.
Yeah,
falafel in
no,
Israel.
but like I'm saying, fried and all that. I did the whole give me everything on it, but I waited more till the end, so I wasn't inclined to have it every day.
right.
I just would push it till the end.
Oh, there's nothing like falafel. Where is the craziest food place that you have gone to around the world?
My wife and I were in Thailand, and so yeah, there was primarily the restaurant there had that falafel and things like that. But I did notice though that there was a lot more. The flavoring, the
flavor.
spicing was very different.
Right.
So
Even in-
although I do agree, probably wasn't as authentic as going on the street corners and getting that food, but you definitely you could tell the spices and the way that they're making things are just very different.
Right. A lot. Only in America is the food overly processed. We were in Italy 10 years ago or something, and we went to Pompeii to the ruins there, and they had a cafe there, and the food, it wasn't just hamburgers and hot dogs at the cafe. It was beautifully presented, fresh food,
Wow.
lasagnas, cannellonis. Like in America, we have sandwich shops at our gift shops and food places at museums. And this was magnificent. So really, Americans are very into the processed food,
Yeah.
and the Europeans and Israelis and
Yeah.
I used to work somewhere in Brooklyn, and there's this old Israeli couple that had a little storefront that she used to make laffa and hummus, and I used to love going in there just because she was hidden away in the middle of Brooklyn somewhere, but she was in the back, and it was like you'd step back 50 years and you knew that she was making the hummus, grinding the chickpeas. Like it just tastes much different when it's she's using a recipe probably from 100 years ago.
Right, that's what you want. That's really what you want. Okay, guys, our hour is up. Don't forget
Yay.
to do our giveaway, Naomi at nachumsiegel.com for Beth's book, and follow. You have to try to do both if you can. We had Penny from Get Paid. Wow, all that travel information. You guys can reach out to them at Get Paid, PEYD. Get Paid at getpaid.com. Beth Warren, you can find her at Instagram, on her website, her brand new awesome book. which one of you will get to hopefully win in the next week or so. We're going to announce it via Instagram or via email. Wishing everybody Shabbat Shalom. Happy eating. Take care. We've got music sponsored by our friends at Kedem, up to Lichbenching, and Mark Zomick is up next. Shabbos Music Mix. Good Shabbos.